Summer routines live or die by how easy they are, and honestly, if something takes too much effort, I'm out. That's why Groons is my go-to. It's my one daily pack of gummies covering my greens, vitamins, and minerals. Plus, it has 6 grams of prebiotic fiber, which is more than 2 cups of broccoli. No mixing powders, no giant pills, no hassle. I just rip open the pack and I'm done. They taste good and they make it easy to stay on top of my health, even when life gets busy. Save up to 52% with the code PODCAST at Groons.co. That's code PODCAST at GRUNS.co.
Security threats are everywhere. But with Xfinity XFi, you're notified of threats to your in-home Wi-Fi network, so all your connected devices are protected. That's simple, easy, awesome. Go online, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit today. Restrictions apply.
I am taking Michael Russo's picture right now because I'm starting to use Instagram.
Huh?
I'm starting to use Instagram. I'm horrible at it.
Yeah,
I'm terrible at it.
Yeah, let's not put that picture up.
Why not? You look good.
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
Well, I was. I was.
You want to take a different picture?
No, definitely not. no pictures.
Okay, then you have to send me some hockey-related photo that I can use instead of that picture.
Okay, that's fine.
All right,
I'll do that. Yep. I was, didn't have my hat on. I had no glasses.
All right, well, send me a hockey photo.
I was all in my coffee.
And we'll move forward.
Yep.
And, hey, if anybody wants to contribute hockey-related, that's what we'll do. If any listeners want to contribute hockey-related photos that I can use as an Instagram shot, we'll let you participate in the show that way. Send me a backyard hockey shot or a shot of your kid playing hockey or a shot of your favorite, scene at a Wild game, whatever. Send me something and I'll use those on Instagram.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
Wow, I had a good idea. It's been so long.
I know.
It's been so long.
What do you think of my idea of doing like house podcasts at like Vicky and Luke Cahill's and everything?
I love it. I mean, let's face it, the people it's not like when we do a live show, we're going to bring in 2,000 people we've never met. Usually we have our regulars there.
Yeah.
We can do our regulars at a house.
No, I think that we should do that.
Vicky's going to hate getting the invoice for it, though. That's the only problem.
I just want to play. Like, she's got like these cutest
adorable dogs.
I know.
I should bring Boyd over so Boyd can be intimidated by them.
Boyd is like the size of like her dog's mouth.
I know.
So it'd be cool to see them because it's getting like lonely. We haven't seen our regulars.
We haven't seen our
forever.
regulars in so long. I know. It's been weird too because this show actually brings people into places. When we did a show at Tom Marie's, we brought people in. When we did the show at Hell's Kitchen, we brought a lot of people in. It's so weird that no other entity, no other restaurant or bar said, "Hey, I would like to bring in a large audience. Why don't we do this?"
That's what we should do. Is that we bring people in just to like people's homes and we sell like beer and
I like
tickets and blah blah blah. Then we split the profits with the person that's hosting
I like
us.
It.
That's good. Matt hires actually a lot of it's now kind of like a new thing, but like professional musicians that like play places like big things like Varsity and places like that will actually do house shows where they, I went this past, although I think it was, I can't remember if I paid or if it was free, but like the Pines, who's one of my favorite bands here from the Twin Cities. They played a house show in St. Paul by the X this past summer. It was so cool. And I can't remember, though, if I paid. No, you know what it was? It was a donation at the door.
Oh, cool.
So they do that. But I saw Matt Hires play a house in Plymouth once.
Wow.
This is a guy that I've seen play, the Varsity. I've seen play 7th Street, that type of thing. And here he is playing in the basement of a girl's house. And you paid to get in, and that's kind of what they do. So we should do that with the podcast.
You can have.
By the way, I'm not being serious. We're not doing house shows.
You can have Russo rock your house.
There is zero chance that I'm doing house podcast.
For the right amount of money, we'd do anything.
Okay, all right.
Let's be honest.
There's a chance.
We are for sale. Let's be honest about it.
There's a chance.
The next coffee story involving Russo coming up next. Not a big one, just a cute one. This is the Russo-Souhan Show, part of the MNSPN Podcast Network. MNSPN.com is where you find all the shows. You know the lineup. We have the best people in town. You can subscribe at iTunes, your favorite podcast app. You can just follow us on social media, click the links. You can go right to MNSPN.com and click on the shows there. Of course, Michael works for The Athletic, theathletic.com. I work for the Star Tribune, and we enjoy doing the show very much. Thank you for listening. We are sponsored by Twill in the Edina Galleria, Scott Dayton's clothing store. Fixology Repair with a new location, Michael. John Hedges emailed me to tell me and I walk by this place all the time. It used to be just a little kind of a very small liquor store. Now it's going to be Fixology Repair number 2. They have the place in the Mall of America up by Nordstrom's 3rd floor. Now they're going to have it. It's 6 Quebec building, 601 Marquette Avenue, Suite 218. Basically, it's by like the Taco John's and right by the Caribou, right in that area as you walk into like the Wells Fargo.
Nice.
So it's a perfect location. I walk by there all the time. Check it out. John told me they're doing watch and cell phone service on site. Jewelry repairs taken in will be couriered to and from the Mall of America location. And maybe we'll do a show from there, because John's been such a great sponsor and friend to the program. Also, we're sponsored by Sandvold, S-A-N-D, V as in victory, O-L-D, Sandvold Financial Group. That's Todd Moritz, M-O-R-I-T-Z. We'll tell you more about all those sponsors later in the show. So, Michael, I went and got Michael from the Starbucks, where he has his own table. I walk in there. He's always in the same seat at the same table. I'm waiting for them to put a nameplate on it. And we walk from the Starbucks 10 feet into my building where we are using our studio in my building. We walk in, and I said, Michael, you want anything? And he said, I think I'm having coffee.
Yeah.
You
thought I was kidding.
I thought you were kidding because you were just in Starbucks.
Like, we walked in here, we dropped my backpack off, and then you closed the door. I'm like, I'm not kidding. I just... the Starbucks.
I'm not sure I get it, but I guess I get it.
Well, first of all, I was sitting at the Starbucks for a couple hours writing, so I had,
So you only had 8
my
over
Americano
there.
I was done with it. Although I got done with it with the last swig as we were leaving, but then I got thirsty again.
Yeah, it was a long walk.
Yeah,
it was at least like 12 paces.
And I'm going to probably stop at Starbucks on the way out of here. Although this time I'm probably going to go with green tea because, as you could tell, I've got a little bit of a cold going on here.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah. I cannot get rid of this thing, though.
Well, one of the things is, Michael, you work crazy hours.
A lot of travel, too.
You travel a lot. Travel is the worst thing for your health. Yeah. I know myself, when I was a beat writer, I always had a cold. And you work in a hockey rink. It's cold in there.
Yeah.
Especially the X. I mean, it's freezing in the press box up there.
Yeah. No, I know. Sarah McClellan, the new beat writer for the Star Tribune, she bundles up like you.
Well, it's freezing in those seats.
Plus, she's coming from Arizona.
Yeah, but we sit underneath an air conditioner in a hockey rink. Yeah. It's freezing in there.
Yeah.
I think they do that because they don't like us.
No, I think that they... I always thought that it was just the Star Tribune area that they just blow the air on it, but no, it's over at my area now too.
Okay, so they don't like any of this.
Yeah, so I think it's just press in general. It's just gusts of wind just coming from the rafter, just right onto our heads. All right, I had hair before the gust of wind knocked it off.
I had hair before I started covering baseball. I had a lot of hair before I started covering baseball. The beat took it right off the top of my head.
Yeah. How about Miguel Sano?
How about that? Well, let's face it. It's for journalists. It's one of those really difficult stories to talk about because you're talking about unproven allegations, and yet, we're not law enforcement agents. We're not trying to prove something beyond a reasonable doubt according to the laws of the land.
Plus, there have been no charges here.
There have been no charges, and the person who made the accusation is not trying to get anything out of it. She's not looking for money or anything via jurisprudence. She's just saying, this happened. I want to be part of the Me Too movement. I want to have these things stop happening to women. I want there to be awareness about the way women are treated. So it's a fascinating story on many fronts. And again, as somebody who's not trying to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, someone who's just having a conversation about this, I will tell you that I don't know her I don't know her at all, but I know a lot of people who know her. I know Miguel Sano a little bit, and I know a lot of people who know Miguel Sano very well. And I will just say this. When that story broke, I was not surprised.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny that you said that this is a hard thing to talk about because I heard Lavelle on the radio and I was very impressed the way that he was able to really just kind of navigate through this without, being completely professional in terms of just everything that he said and not casting.
What was his final
just
verdict?
Kind of walked that line, but I thought it was he basically just said what you just said. That I mean, there's no real motive here for the accuser.
There's no benefit.
I mean, this is just and then reading some subsequent stories by Jeff Passan at Yahoo,
who's very good.
Yeah, who's tremendous.
Yes,
I
he's
mean,
great.
God, his stuff on the Marlins when Jeffrey Loria owned that team. Oh my God,
yeah, it's fantastic
was great stuff.
And I've never had anybody tell me anything on the record or substantial about Miguel Sano, but part of being around a team and knowing a team is knowing what not to write. Mm-hmm. Like when I covered Kirby Puckett in his prime, I never, I heard rumors about the way he handled himself off the field. And so I didn't write those things because they were just all rumors.
Right.
But I certainly didn't, because I had that knowledge of what things might be happening. Mm-hmm. I never wrote Kirby Puck is a great family man story.
Yeah.
It kind of, especially when you're working for a local newspaper covering team.
That's a great.
You find what you do is sometimes you use knowledge to not write the wrong story.
Well, that's a great point because there's exactly because there's certain things you can't write. I mean, you can't just sit there and rail on a guy because he's out partying every night or things like that. If there's no, you still have to be professional in the way that you cover the team. There's got to be an incident for you to cover.
There's got to be a smoking gun. There's got to be.
You can't sit there and just write about, this guy's out womanizing, or this guy's out on the U campus doing this, or this guy. You just can't do that until, unfortunately, there's an incident. But you can use that knowledge to not sit there and make him out to be the world's greatest human being.
Exactly.
Off the ice. So. And,
Sano, per my information, has always been very undisciplined since he came to the United States. And that is, it's a different category, a much different category. But, when I wrote that he was like 285 pounds last year, that's kind of who Sano is. He's kind of undisciplined. He parties a lot. And, he's gone from being like a 250-pound shortstop to a 300-pound third baseman who might not be able to stay at that position anymore.
Well, I used to always say about the Florida Panthers that I think that's one reason why they've been doomed as a franchise from the very beginning. I mean, it's no excuse because there are fun places all over the world, all over the country that those teams still succeed. Vegas is figuring out a way to win and live in a fun place. Nashville. But I always used to think I'd watch these young kids come to the Florida Panthers, and and they're given millions of dollars, and they're a couple miles from South Beach or Fort Lauderdale Beach, and you're like, hockey's not always their biggest priority when they're young and right out of juniors and blah blah blah, and they have never seemed to figure out a way to control those players down there where other teams figure out ways.
Right, absolutely. Okay, we're going to talk some actual hockey. I do want to thank Scott Dayton and his shop, Twill, in the Edina Galleria, twillmn.com, Twill on Instagram. Now that I'm on Instagram, I see their stuff on there all the time. Please check out there. I've shopped there. I've spent my own money there. We love the shop. We've done live shows at the shop. They always have a TV with a game on, and they're very relaxed people to deal with. So please check out Twill in the Edina Galleria.
Hi, I'm Stacy Souhan. I love Twill, Scott Dayton's shop in the Edina Galleria. Twill takes the stress out of shopping by offering updated traditional fashion. I know that if Jim goes in there shopping alone, I will like what he buys, whether it's pajamas, flannel shirts, or suits. I plan to recommend Twill to my daughter when she has to buy wedding party gifts and attire. Twill in the Edina Galleria will bring your fashion game to a championship level.
So let's do the traditional hockey opening, Michael, which is I say, boy, the Wild are playing better, and you say, eh.
Yeah, that'd be Florida.
Yeah.
Florida actually had won 5 in a row since beating the Wild.
Actually, you're right.
Right before Christmas. Well. So they were playing well, and last night the Wild absolutely ripped out their soul for 2 periods. They looked horrific, meaning the Panthers. And, that's the thing right now with the Wild. Earlier in the season, and a lot of times last March, the Wild were not a tough team to play in XL Energy Center, and now the Wild are a very tough team to play at home. And the last 2 home games in particular against Nashville and Florida, they've looked absolutely awesome at home. And so that's a great sign because right now they're in a home. This has got to be the time that they make a little hay here. This is like one of those times you got to go 7-1-1 in your next 9. because they have so many home games here, 7 out of 9, I think, in this stretch. And the Wild are 10-1-1 in their last 12 home games. And, they're playing Buffalo again coming up here on Thursday. And Buffalo's a team that it seems for some reason the Wild play them all the time on game 41 and seem to figure out a way to beat them. And so they've got to figure out a way to continue to pile up points here. Because look at what happened in the last just 2 games. The Wild went from being a wild card team to losing in Nashville to then beating Florida, and they're still out of a playoff spot right now because it is so hard to gain ground in this conference in a land of 3-point games, and when all of a sudden West teams are playing West, and it's tough. And now all of a sudden Colorado's on their tail. Chicago's the one team that keeps on falling a little bit back here, but Anaheim is starting to play great. Just beat the crap out of Vancouver last night, and Vegas doesn't lose. I mean, it's
an amazing story.
Yeah, it's funny. Nobody could figure out a way. They've won 8 in a row. I think there's something like 11-0-1 in their last 12, and nobody could figure out a way to win in Vegas. And now Columbus next week is going there, and they're going to spend 4 days there. So either one thing's going to happen. They're going to get their absolute, butt handed to them, and nobody will ever do that again, or they're going to win, and people are like, maybe we need to stay there for 4 days, let them get it out of their system for 2 days, and then we really become a professional team again in the last 2. I would say this, back in 1998, I think, 8 or 9, 1999, I think it was. Panthers, covering the Florida Panthers, they play Tampa Bay on a Saturday night at home at Miami Arena. And on Sunday, they fly to Vegas because they were playing in San Jose on Wednesday, and they started a road trip. And the Panthers were doing really well at this point. It was December. They spent 3 days practicing in Vegas, then go to San Jose, and they wound up getting swept in California, I think, and their entire season completely evaporated. Sorry.
It's okay.
It's tough to play in Vegas. Practice in Vegas.
Did you tell me the 19th where are you on the 19th? You're home?
This January 19th?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we get back. I think that's the day that
you get back on the
that's the day the 19th is the day that the bye week ends, and that's when the Wild can practice at like 5 p.m.
This is very tentative, but my band is planning on playing at O'Gara's on January 19th at 8 o'clock for a few hours. It'll be a fun time to have everybody come out and maybe get the regulars in one place. Maybe we should do a podcast.
Yeah, didn't we used to do shows at O'Gara's?
We did
for a while. Am I making this up?
No, we did.
Okay.
We did it for a while. And I'm friends with the O'Gara's, and that was when we were just starting out, and we brought some people in, but I don't think we brought a lot of people in at that time. So it went by the wayside.
Now we're just a refined machine.
Now we are.
We're at like 120 podcasts at this point.
It's amazing.
God, that is. I can't even believe that we haven't killed each other by now.
Actually,
there have been a couple close calls.
I think there's only. Have there been? Have we
no.
Mad at each other in the air?
No, definitely not.
Okay, yeah.
We fake it.
Which is the key to show business.
Yeah,
man.
Well, do you know how many play-by-play guys and color guys
don't like each other?
Yeah,
it's so true.
Unbelievable.
Including at least one in this town. I won't mention names, but you can probably guess. So listen to next week's shows for updates. Maybe we'll my band again is going to be playing January 19th at O'Gara's. Maybe we'll mix in a Russo podcast as well, just for fun. So listen and follow us on social media for updates on that. I do want to thank Todd Sandvold. Sorry, Brandon. Todd Moritz of Sandvold Financial Group. Moritz is Todd's last name. Sandvold Financial, SAND, V as in victory, OLD. Sandvold Financial Group, very traditional company. You've probably heard the name before. We've met with Todd before and talked to him about his services. Please, if you need any financial services, check out Todd.
Plan for tomorrow today. It sounds easy, but for many people it's not. The good news is, planning for your financial future isn't something you have to do all by yourself. Visit sandvoldfinancialgroup.com to request more information and ask for the tax-efficient insight of Todd Moritz, CPA.
Registered representative of and independent of Questar Capital Corporation. Member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Questar Asset Management.
All right, hockey? Do we have any more? Obviously we're here talking on a Wednesday afternoon after Cullen and Stahl both had big games. Stahl's had a pretty good year. how has Cullen played overall?
Well, he's definitely playing better lately. The game against Nashville, he was really good. The home game against Nashville, he was really good. And obviously last night he was outstanding, and that line was really good up until the horrific line change in the third period that got guys like Koivu on the ice for a minus. But what's really cool now, and we'll see if it continues, is that now you get Niederreiter back, you got Parise back. They're at full strength for the first time this season, and it puts a lot of pressure on a lot of guys to play well. So today at practice, the Wild had a top line, depending on what you want to call the top line, of Koivu, Niederreiter, and Granlund, and I'm going to continue to call them the top line just because they get the most ice time. I mean, last night, it's crazy. Eric Stahl played 13 minutes and 49 seconds.
Really?
Isn't that nuts? But it's because there was no special teams in the game, really, and so Boudreau just rolled 4 lines. And what happened is the fourth line played so well with Winnick and Foligno and Cullen that there was that quote-unquote believability, as Bruce likes to say, that they would not get scored upon, and he continued to roll those fourth lines, and that's what that fourth line hasn't given him a lot this season. So now all of a sudden you have Ennis staying with Stahl and Zucker, and I just wrote my story on that, is the irony that Tyler Ennis earlier in this year, it didn't matter how decimated they were with injury, he couldn't get off the fourth line. Now they're completely healthy, and they can't take him off the Stahl line because he's playing that well. So that's great to see. And so what that allows you now is you can have a really cool third line that should be good with Eriksson Ek, Charlie Coyle, and Zach Parise. And so now all of a sudden there are options, not just who gets scratched, but if there are times in games where guys are struggling, you pop Parise up, you pop Coyle up, you pop Eriksson Ek up. This gives Boudreau some shuffling ability where he's not just shuffling crummy players. Essentially now this team's a deeper team. So we'll see if it works. I mean, it worked against Florida. We'll see now if it continues, because as I said, I mean, these are games now. You're going to Colorado, you're home against Ottawa, you're home against Buffalo, you're home against Florida. I mean, these are teams that you should beat.
Let's do a few Twitter questions. As usual, we have just a million good questions. I won't get to all of them. I do appreciate people sending them in. Also, if you'd like to advertise with this podcast, you can email me at jsouhan@startribune.com. I'll hook you up with our salesperson. From Cody Pollock, halfway through the season, what are your thoughts on the Pominville, Scandella, Ennis, Foligno trade?
Well, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, the Wild had to make the move or make some sort of move to get themselves cap compliant. This saved over $2 million in cap space, and look, I mean, they're barely under the cap as it is. So some trade had to happen of dealing a $4 million defenseman and probably getting rid of Pominville. The problem is that Ennis and Foligno has definitely not fit in as well as anybody had hoped. Foligno hasn't been good, and Ennis is starting to get some traction here and playing better. But I mean, he still hasn't scored in 12 games or something like that, a goal. So. What has made it a little more tolerable lately is that the blue line is starting to play much, much better. Brodin's having a good year. Suter and Spurgeon have been good. Dumba's starting to play much better. And so now all of a sudden you have a third pair where Prosser has really stabilized things on that third pair, and you're switching between Riley and Olofsson. I thought Olofsson the last 2 games has been very good. I thought he was really good the other night against the Panthers. And frankly, up until the goal against in Nashville, I thought he was having a good game for a guy that was scratched 8 straight. So, we'll have to see what happens with the whole Riley-Olofsson situation, but there's nothing that they could do there. I mean, it's going to have to. You're not sitting Brodin and you're not sitting Suter, and they don't want to play the right side. Those 2 young defensemen, so that leaves one or the other sitting out every other night. So, earlier in this year, I think that we saw a major lax, and especially losing Scandella. And again, the fact that Foligno and Ennis haven't fit in as well. The Foligno issue is disturbing. I mean, he's got 4 years at 2.85. Woo. I mean, that is
the next generation.
And there are times where it looks like he can't play. So that's my thoughts on that, Cody.
More Twitter questions in a second. Also, if you really do want me to use one of your photos for my Instagram post on the Russo-Souhan show, email it to me at jsouhan@startribune.com. As with Twitter questions, I won't get to all of them, but I would like to have a backlog of photos I can use. Thank you for that. Thanks to John Hedges and Fixology Repair. Again, they have their traditional store, third floor of the Mall of America. I walked by the other day up by Nordstrom's, and now they have a new space, 601 Marquette Avenue. It's basically in the Skyway, right by the Caribou Coffee, right as you're walking over to the Wells Fargo building. Yeah, I hope my memory is matching up with the reality there. I know the space, and I hope I'm placing it in the right place. But it's right downtown, 601 Marquette Avenue. I walk by it all the time. Liquor store used to be there, Suite 218, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. So please check out Fixology Repair, both Mall of America and in downtown Minneapolis in the Skyway.
There are some things in life that you just can't live without. Now, whether it's a special piece of jewelry, a watch, or even your smartphone, you want it in working condition. At Fixology Repair, we are committed to restoring your pieces so that everything works or fits the way it ought to. Watch servicing, chain repair, and broken screen replacements are just a few of the services that we offer at our 2 locations, Mall of America and the Skyway in downtown Minneapolis. Please visit us at fixologyrepair.com or at fixologymn on Twitter to learn more. Mention this ad and get a 10% discount on our services.
All right, back to Twitter questions from Jeff. Other than this one, what is the dumbest question each of you has been asked?
Well, how do you even remember?
I'll say this.
Yeah.
I think, we might think that a hockey question might be off base, but I think hockey fans are so passionate and so knowledgeable. Most hockey questions, even if you disagree with the premise, they're based on something. I find the worst questions to be baseball questions. Right. Because so many casual fans, and I'm not trying to sound arrogant here. I apologize if I do come off that way. Baseball is such a weird sport. It requires so much patience, so much farm system development. Free agency fails so often in that sport. I think the dumbest questions I've been asked have been baseball questions where somebody's like, why don't you trade for Alex Rodriguez? Why don't you sign, Clayton Kershaw and it's just in baseball, more so than in other sports, it's just unrealistic. It's a no salary cap sport where certain teams can do certain things and certain teams can't.
Very arrogant.
Thank you.
I think that hockey fans are the smartest, and I
knew you'd
stupid
say that.
questions.
That's exactly right.
Because I am humble.
That's exactly right, and we all. That's what we think about. That's what we think of you as, is humble.
Yeah, I think that because I am humble should be the next one of those liners at the end of the show.
Hashtag.
Call that.
Hashtag because Russo is humble.
Yeah.
From Reed Schaefer, travel pet peeves continue. Do you have a travel pet peeve?
Landing from Nashville the other day, first text I get is from Reed Schaefer. I mean, it's almost like he's got a GPS on my freaking phone or something. Like the second I turn it on, boom, pops in. No, but from that question last week, I have thought of others. Definitely, this time of year is always tough because you have you have either business travelers traveling with their families for the first time in a long time, so they're just totally impatient, or you have just the clueless travelers that don't, so they just don't know what they're doing. So one pet peeve is definitely being in the TSA pre-check line
and having people not know what they're doing,
and then having the person in front of you start taking out their wallet, taking out this, and you're in the pre-check line.
Get through the damn line.
And then the other one is just walking through the corridors of any airport, and then you're just walking and you've got someplace to be, and then boom, somebody just stops in front of you.
Oh, I hate that.
I hate that. So that one stuff. And then the people getting on the plane that's they're totally oblivious to their gigantic backpack that hits you in the head.
Smack you in the head as they walk by. I get that.
Yeah.
Boy, we hate all the same stuff.
But I told you the one that still just drives me crazy are the fly down on your seat, and you're sitting there behind the person working, and they almost rip your laptop. This happened to me the other day, actually, and the woman in the middle seat just started hysterically laughing because she saw how close it came from my computer lid to being snapped off. It was unbelievable.
It goes back to the Souhan rule. We should all be able to tase somebody once a day.
Could you imagine? That would not be good.
It would be awesome.
I think I would get it a lot.
That's why it would be awesome.
Yeah.
From Aaron
I don't know. The problem is when does you never know when he's going to retire, right?
Maybe another 10 years.
Yeah, you could always say this could be his last time ever at XL Energy Center, but then all of a sudden he shows up again. I mean, heck, this is a guy that left the league for a couple of years and returned. So, amazing player. I don't think he's nearly the player he used to be.
No.
And which is why a lot of teams didn't want to sign him.
Right. From Zeke Boyett, what do you think a Dumba extension would look like?
That's a good question. Isn't it crazy? I mean, the way that things work is like, a month ago, we're talking about like, oh my God, they got to get Zucker done. And now Zucker can't score and he's a turnover machine. And now Dumba's just piling up the goals and playing really well. I think $4 to $5 million would probably be in that category for him. I think it's dangerous. I think he's one of those guys that they've got to be 100% certain that he's the right person to commit to. But they did a lot of stuff this offseason to make sure that they kept him. So, I can see it happening.
Absolutely. From Zach Brown, is Vegas showing you don't need the Canes and McDavids to be competitive in the league? Is this taking an excuse away from the Wild's lack of dominance?
No, I mean, I don't think so. I still don't really know what to make of that team. I mean, they're just a team built on speed and hard work, and you still wonder how long this is going to last. But I do think that they are a team that every time you watch them on TV, I mean, it just shows you more so that just teamwork and balance could get you by. But how long can that eventually go? We'll have to see. But just watching them, they play a great, fun style of hockey. And I driving home from I have a buddy, he's the casino host of the Planet Hollywood. And after every game, he texts me, another win. And he was telling me last night as I was driving home from the X after they beat Nashville, he goes, you would not believe the sound in that arena every night. It's like a playoff atmosphere. Fans are going crazy. So far, it's been unbelievably successful, and I'll be interested to see what George McPhee does at the trade deadline. I mean, they just signed Marchessault today to a huge contract extension, which I think is awesome because that guy is amazing. And you got William Karlsson there, and they obviously got a lot of really big pieces. So I'll be interested to see going into that deadline. Do you trade James Neal or David Perron? I mean, those two to me don't seem to be the most important guys on the team, but they have something really special going there. So. I'll be interested to see, what happens here. I will say that George McPhee has told me in the past that really studying teams like Florida and Minnesota, who got enticed into thinking they were better than they were when they went to the one Stanley Cup final in Florida in their third year and conference final with Minnesota in their third year. And then they didn't make changes, and it delayed the rebuilding or delayed the building process another year or two, where all of a sudden it was kind of too late. So I would wonder if that kind of history of realizing that, maybe you got to make moves is something that kind of gears his plan here. But those were different teams too. They were getting the real legitimate cast-offs, where this team is still getting, again, we've talked about it a lot. I mean, they built this team the way that at the time I didn't think it was the smart way, but it clearly was. They looked at every team in the league and said, all right, what third and fourth liners should be playing on the first and second? Mm-hmm. And that's how, or would be on our team, but can't on those teams. And that's where they got Eric Haula and William Karlsson and Marchessault and all those guys. I mean, just look at William Karlsson. He's got 20 goals. Take William Karlsson so we don't lose Josh Anderson, is what Columbus said. Take Marchessault and Riley. I mean, how the heck did they get Riley Smith and Marchessault from the Florida Panthers? It's crazy, So, interesting.
Yeah. From Marshall Scarre, were the Panthers that bad, or did the Wild play that well?
I don't think the Panthers were very good yesterday, but the Wild were great. I mean, that was as good as you're going to see the Wild play. It was a carbon copy of practice the day before.
Interesting.
In fact, Bruce should have that practice every single day if that's going to be the result. Two guys at the net, inside, driving. I mean, it was everything. It's the first time in a long time that I could remember watching a practice and saying, oh my God, I'm seeing what they did in practice in the game.
Interesting.
Yeah.
From Skylar Vacius, just wondering if we'll ever see Cunnin again.
Yeah, you'll see him again. I mean, it's going to be harder now that they're healthy and that Eriksson Ek is playing well, even though he's still not producing points. But But at some point, Cunnin will be back. But you know what? I'd leave him there, have him play well, continue to get goals. He's starting to finally play really well. I went to Iowa last week. I don't think we talked about that yet, but I went to Iowa last week to watch Parisi. First time I've ever been to Iowa, by the way. It was the day that I left here for the podcast. Right. And Cunnin was by far the best forward in that game, although I thought the Klus-Annis and Mayhew line was really fun to watch. There were some guys that were just terrible. I mean, Ryan Murphy looked like he never played the sport before. Nick Seeler had a really tough game. There were a lot of guys in that game. Marlo Chia struggled, but I thought Cunnin was really good with Parisi on that line.
From Nikolai, who becomes the extra forward once Nino returns, or will be alternating scratches depending on
I think
play?
They'll probably alternate scratches, but Stewie sounds like he's guaranteed to sit on Thursday. It's what I thought in the game. I don't think Stewie's playing well at all, and I think Foligno's probably next, but because that Foligno-Cullen-Winnick line was so good, I don't see why you would change that right now. So I think Stewie comes out. Eriksson Ek goes to that line with Parisi and Coyle. Nino goes up with Granlund and Koivu, and Stewart sits.
From Festo, is the plan to have Jordan Greenway in Iowa after the college season's over?
Yeah, I would think so.
From another one from Nikolai, what type of player do the Wild need most right now? Sniper, two-way forward, center?
Their center production has been terrible this season. Beyond Stahl. I mean, Koivu, 1 goal in his last 31 games up until last night. Cullen, 2 goals on the season, I think. And, Coyle, 2 goals on the season. Eriksson Ek, no goals since opening night. I think center somewhere Sniper, obviously, they could always use a goal scorer, but their center, I think a big, I've started, now that I'm kind of working on my midseason report, that hopefully will run on our site on Friday. It's what beyond Stahl. I mean, their center goal scoring is worst in the league.
Wow. From Marek, isn't the lack of right shot forwards about to become an area of concern? Are the Wild looking to move either 4 or 23? Thus the reason for playing both, even though both have been fine.
Well, I think the reason of playing both is so, you get one in and don't sit the other forever, although it felt like Olsen was. But I think the right shot forwards has been an issue for a long time this season. And now we're looking at power play units that basically up front don't have that. So, that's definitely, I think it's a concern. I remember that 5-on-3 earlier in the season. I think it was in Detroit when the Wild, I can't remember. But I can't remember which game it was, but I know that Boudreau feels this way, but I could not believe, on a 5-on-3 down low, if you're not going to put Coyle there, you might as well put Dumba or Spurgeon. I think that you need a right shot on a situation like that. From
Philip Kallenberg, does playing on a line with Koivu and therefore against opposing teams' top lines hinder Granlund's point production?
Well, I think it definitely does, but I think that, one way to play great defense is to play in the offensive zone. But last night, I saw somebody saying that line was terrible. That line until the third period and until Bob Bugner loaded up, the line of to make it, Barkov, Huberdeau, and Trocheck, I think it was. I mean, that line did its job. I mean, sometimes, sometimes shutting down the other team's top players is the way to win. In fact, most times it is. And so, again, heck, it was on our report card. Somebody, our guy wrote that Koivu had a quiet night. He was, same thing he wrote with Brodin. I thought Brodin was the best defenseman on the ice yesterday. Playing defense is sometimes not gauged all the time in possession numbers and things like that. And I just thought that I thought that Koivu and Granlund, for the most part, did its job yesterday.
A couple more Twitter questions and we'll wrap it up. Thanks again to everybody for listening. Thanks to Twill in the Edina Galleria, Fixology Repair, 3rd floor of the Mall of America, and now downtown Minneapolis in the Skyway, and Todd Moritz of Sandvold Financial Group. From Lawrence Alberts, Charlie Coyle's career has peaked or regressed, in my opinion. Yes, his broken leg will be mentioned, but he's played plenty of games beyond it. On a full season basis, he's on pace for 10 to 12 goals with the empty netter. Is it Boudreau's style of play versus Yo's, or is he overhyped by the media?
Oh, yeah. I love Lawrence.
Skip?
Lawrence.
We'll fast forward.
Lawrence hates Parisi, loves Koivu, although Koivu's the guy that has 1 goal in his last 31 games, by the way, and is not having a good year. But I digress. Coyle has not been producing at all this year offensively, but I don't think he's had a bad year at all. I mean, he's been bounced around the lineup. He's still gaining points. He's been great defensively. But is he going to be the future 30-goal scorer that Lawrence likes to point out, that Anthony LaPanta likes to say? Probably not. He is what he is. He goes through long stretches of not scoring. It's frustrating that a guy with his type of toolbox doesn't become a high-scoring power forward. But I wouldn't say that he's a terrible player, but I'd say he's an aggravating player because you just feel like there should be a lot more, especially production-wise. Just look at the chances lately. How many times does he make the highlight reel move but can't get the highlight reel finish? It happens weekly. And that's the frustrating part about him.
From an old friend Mike Burgoyne, have the Wild spent too much effort drafting two-way players and passing on pure scorers?
Well, they definitely did with Besser.
From Festo, never mind. From Jacob Burkhart, would you rather see Eck or Coyle at center, or both, or neither?
I always think that Coyle is better on the wing, but I also think Eriksson Ek is better on the wing. So, pick your, I don't know. The fact that Eriksson Ek can't win a face-off to save his life probably means that Coyle needs to play center if he's going to be on that line. I think Ek's been good lately. There was one shift last night where I just thought that, oh my God, get him off. There was one shift in the third period. It was unbelievable to watch the amount of soft plays that Eriksson Ek made. But the reason why it stood out is because he's been so good lately with strong plays. Again, you just hope the production is going to eventually come. I remember Mikko Koivu didn't score in his final 43 games of his rookie year goal. And
so nothing's changed.
This guy, but I'm like, this guy is never going to score at this level, and he's the all-time leading scorer in Wild history. Yeah. So it will come for Eriksson Ek, but is he ever going to be the pure guy that Brock Besser is? No.
Right. I'm not even going to ask for a final thought because I know what the answer would be.
Yeah, I never have a thought.
No final thoughts. Thought. I'm not sure I have any thoughts at all. So we'll just kind of fast forward to the end of the show. Once again, thanks to all of our listeners, thanks to our sponsors, and we will talk to you next week.
Pretty little city built on a hillside. Music in the bars and fire in the sky. We went to the beach and it was covered in ice. And I used to call it home. So much coming out, there's nothing going in. I know that you feel like you're never gonna win. Oh, but the world won't forgive a winner.
Holiday tips and fun facts from Paul, Kristen, and Dexter at Total Wine & More.
The custom of bumping glasses with the cheers came from old Rome. When in Rome, cheers!
A pork crown roast with cranberry stuffing deserves a ripe, fruit-forward Cabernet from Paso Robles. Let me help you find the perfect bottle.
Looking for the right wine for a meaningful gift? Consider me your wine concierge.
Whether you're entertaining or just bringing the wine, we'd love to share our always low prices and ridiculous selection with you. This holiday, now offering same-day delivery at TotalWine.com. Cheers!